Laughing. Well, at least Alicia's laughing, but the broadcast is live. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Torch Snuffers podcast. I am your host, Colin Connors, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Alicia Garza.
Hello, yes, with you as always, aka I'm also on the podcast every week. I like what you were just saying a moment ago.
Exactly. I was basically telling all the wonderful listeners/viewers that you come for me clearly, but it's not just me and Alicia. We're also joined by the super amazing Prince Ty.
Good evening.
The third ginger to join us, Ben Millier.
Hi, friends.
And our super special guest tonight, he's actually with Alicia Garza in New York. The one, the only, the amazing Billy Garcia.
That is not picture in picture.
Great to be here. It was fun watching Survivor with Alicia. She's a great person to watch Survivor with.
Thank you.
Unless Ozzy's on the screen.
Person to watch Survivor with, as you might imagine.
Aw.
He was tossing out like all the cool background tidbits we watched. It was great.
Yeah. Cool tidbits like coconuts are always in the tallest trees.
Hey, I'm not very outdoorsy. I need all the knowledge I can get.
I was going to say, Ty kind of hit the nail on the head with that, though. As long as Ozzy doesn't come on the screen, you and Billy should get along. But I think the moment Ozzy comes on screen, you two would have some differences. For those of you that don't know, Alicia is madly in love with Billy. Or, I'm sorry, in love with Ozzy. And so there could be some conflicts of interest there. But anyways, we have a whole lot to cover. It was a crazy episode. I get to do a whole nother winner pick because once again,
You get to do no such thing.
the person I picked to win a season is out in the first two episodes. So I get to pick a winner. Billy gets to pick a winner. It's going to be a great time. But anyways, let's just dive right into it. And I'm actually going to start with you, Ben. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually kind of about 10 minutes into the episode, and that was Ty looking for the clue. And I just want to talk about that. First off, was it a little redundant to just hide the clue in the tree than just say, hey, look under the tree? I thought that was pretty silly.
Yeah, I was really confused by that whole setup. Like, congratulations, you found a pouch that was tied together. Look down. Oh, look, another clue. Oh, look, now you can go up. I'm just like, if you're looking for more complexity or looking for more interest in finding the idol by providing multiple clues, do something more than just look up and look down.
You know, maybe the producer was sleepy that day and just, was like, okay, we need an idol, let's just do this.
You know what I would think he was going for? I think he was going for like the Russian Christmas present box where you open the box and you open that box and there's a smaller box and at the end you get like a bar of soap.
Nesting
the only thing that I can think of for that.
With the bamboo.
Yeah, it's not going to be there. It's not going to be the hidden immunity idol. Instead, it's going to be like a wah, wah, wah. This ain't it.
No, it's going to be like a miniature wooden, thing, that the challenge is, and then it's going to, have an X in the where the thing is going to be in the challenge.
So just more and more complexity. Ben, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, the only, thing that I could possibly see them, going for with that is, the tree that he has to climb is, so high that, from camp, someone can turn left and say, oh, there's Ty, a 50-foot tree. What's he doing up there?
Well, it's not only the tree, but they gave him a tool to use it, but the tool didn't even look like it made it that much easier to get it out of a tree. So, and couldn't anyone walking by look up and see the clue in the tree? It just seems really hastily put together. Alicia, did you want to jump in?
Can we talk about how small that tool to help him get the key was? Because it looked like it was maybe 1.5 feet long. Maybe.
Hey.
Was that deceiving?
Size doesn't matter.
Is he supposed to take the thing, throw it up at the tree, and hope it knocks it out? Maybe that's the...
That's what Billy was saying. He was like, I don't understand why he didn't try and grab a rock and knock it down.
No, see, first of all, I think Ty is a terrible hidden immunity idol seeker, yeah. Because last week when everybody was like, where is he? I would have totally dropped my pants and been like, hey, can I have some privacy here? And look like I was taking a dump. Nobody would have expected me looking for the idol. And then
the Darnell.
This week he was trying to climb up a tree, and he was leaving his blood stains all up that tree. Isn't that evidence? Excuse
Somebody
me,
died.
blood in the tree? clearly somebody was climbing up the tree.
It's not enough that he got caught like black dirt handed last week. He had to get like caught red foot handed.
Red-handed.
Red-footed.
But still, I think the bigger picture that I'm trying to get at is that this new twist, this new idea, it doesn't seem to be working, and it looks just kind of silly, and especially going along with what we know in the future, basically saying, hey, if two people with idols meet up this season and they combine them, you get a super idol. And it seems to me they just keep trying to, reinvent the wheel. Ty, did you want to comment on that? Because I don't see the purpose of these extra.
At the end of the day, the problem is that you're comparing this twist to last twist, Cambodia, where it was actually interesting. It was more complex because you found the clue and then you had to find a way to covertly get the idol during the challenge. This, on the other hand, is just convoluted. Go here, go here, go here, chuck a thing up here, and then you get to open up a box and it probably says that your idol is hidden in another castle along with Princess Peach. So, to that end, it may not look so terrible if not for the fact that the idol situation was executed so well in the last season that we saw. So it's really hurting it. That's my thought.
Well, and I guess something to judge a Survivor twist on is, do we think we're going to see this weird kind of convoluted, like especially get a cool step in finding an idol ever again? Because I don't think we are.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's what I think. I think whoever came up with this idol idea is like a video game lover, not necessarily a Survivor lover. Like this looks like something you would do like in a video game to get like that special sword. All the bad
jump
guys.
up in the tree, like down by the tree.
99 hidden immunity idol.
So I think somewhere during the season, when the idol becomes
so
unobtainable, like they're gonna have to change something. Just on the go, they're gonna have to change because it's gonna be unobtainable.
Well, and this kind of goes along with what happened last season, which was the idols were at first hidden at really cool challenges, or they were hidden underneath the camp, and then towards the end it was like Jeremy had to pick it up.
Yeah. That was anticlimactic.
Go in a barrel and get a little wet.
See, Billy, you had the idea though that it could have been dyed a different color or something, just something, a bit.
Yeah, or a barrel full of scorpions, something.
Maybe not scorpions,
But
but
you could just eat those and then you'd be safe.
Those old Indiana Jones movies where he had to stick his hand in like a thing of bugs to pull a lever to get him to save himself. Why not just pull a barrel full of bugs and then have it at the bottom of the barrel?
I think the barrel should be full of earbugs and scorpions because those are the two types of bugs on Survivor. So, Billy, let's talk a little bit one-on-one about the survival element of Survivor, and this actually ties in beautifully with what I wanted to talk about next. Debbie on the Brains tribe is getting this "I'm an annoying girl" letter, and while I do believe she is annoying, she is actually right that you do not need to boil the water on Survivor, and I'm surprised more and more people that watch the show don't know that. I mean, it's not that much of an insider secret. There's a cameraman on Reddit who did an AMA who said you don't have to drink the water. Rudy in Season 8 drank the water and he was fine. Why do more and more people just not drink the water, Billy? I don't get it.
You're supposed to boil the water when it's a well or if it's like a natural waterfall or whatever, because that's wildlife that's in there. When it's in a barrel that Survivor's supplied you with. Yeah, like it's in a barrel, isn't it? Like,
they showed this maybe it's in a barrel inside of a huge ceramic pot.
Okay.
Potish.
Well, either way, if they keep the lid shut, they should be fine. But if they don't keep the lid shut, if they leave it open while they take the water back and they forget or whatever, then every bug on the island will use it as a bathroom. But if they keep the lid shut, they should be okay. They should just be a matter of diligence, of being disciplined, and always, as soon as you open it, grab the water and shut it immediately. If you do that, you should be fine. The water will still not taste good because it'll taste like the container, but it'll be to where you don't need to boil it.
And I mean, I believe that sentiment was even echoed in hearing about people talk about Survivor fans versus favorites. I know Sherry, when she was talking about how somehow the favorites always had full canteens of water at every challenge, where meanwhile the fans, even though they would boil water all day, they only had 1 or 2 canteens, and they were just constantly more dehydrated than the favorites. So what I'm just trying to get at is Debbie's annoying, but she's kind of right about the water.
Yeah, well, let me say this. All the fans listening to this, take a cup of hot water from your water faucet and try to drink it and see that you won't be able to keep it down. Like, there's a reason why we created, like, tea and different things to make hot water, like, palatable. because for humans it's hard to keep just plain old hot water down. Like for us in Cook Islands, when we had hot water, we used to put like a little bit of coconut in it so that we could drink it, a little bit of coconut milk so we could drink it. But just plain old hot water, like you're not gonna keep it down. You're gonna hurl chunks, and that makes you more dehydrated than if you wouldn't have drank it. So yeah, the hot water, I don't blame Debbie in that sense.
And just I want to point out, we did apparently lose Ty. I know he does have like hardcore winter storms going on where he lives. I had tornado warnings in my area earlier today, so we're doing what we can. And we also want to, what?
Tornado watch with Ty.
Tornado watch. Oh,
His power is out.
And Ben, I wanted to point out he was drinking tea in order to stay hydrated, and I am in fact drinking beer, which is the only good way to watch Survivor. I believe Alicia and Billy Garcia are also doing that as well.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I'm about to pop open another one.
Can I just make a point on the water thing?
Go ahead.
Why not? Like, we're saying, like, it's annoying that it was proposed and stuff, but for people that are nervous or anxious, and especially considering that tribe being a bunch of anxious people because it's the Brains tribe, why not? Like, if there's no, why not boil the water and then wait for it to cool so it's still lukewarm but still drinkable? Because I know for me, I would have anxiety not boiling it. It's like, they have the fire. So, like, what is, like, I don't even understand what the whole purpose of it happening and it being, like, a thing for the episode.
I'll answer. It depends on how many lids you have. If you don't have any lids, that water will never boil. Never. If you have one lid, then you're able to boil the water over a course of many, many hours, and then you're able to take the water over to the ocean and use the ocean to cool it, which takes a few more hours. So if you're planning to drink water, you got to plan like 6 hours ahead. And if your team is not, if your tribe is not the type that plans ahead, you know, boiling water is an all-day thing. They're you know, it's going to be too late for whoever needs it. And
don't they have canteens now? Aren't you all provided canteens?
Depends on the season. On my season, they provided water bottles, and the water bottles actually kept them warm, not cool. It had the opposite effect.
That's the water bottle that was up there.
Yes,
right?
yes, these are the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we've been talking about the water, you know, some good little water works, but let's move ahead and let's actually continue talking about the Brains tribe while we're here. So, we didn't actually see that much strategy, but Alicia, I wanted to ask you, because you love Liz so much, is Liz kind of emerging as the narrator, and is it basically the Brains tribe going to be Liz versus Debbie? What's kind of going on with that dynamic? What do you think?
She very well could be. I mean, of course, you can't really have Debbie be the narrator because she's not, like, the voice of reason in the tribe, or at least, like, not in the way that they're portraying her, so she can't narrate because it wouldn't be reliable. And then you don't really have many great narrators that would be left there, so I think Liz is kind of going to be the default narrator, along with the fact that she's kind of dramatic about things, like me, so...
I think she's good at talking in sound bites is what makes her a great narrator. I think the more wordy somebody is, the less they narrate.
You do the narrator, right? I think I missed that. But Billy,
yeah, I just said the better sound bites a person speaks to, the more they become the narrator, and the more wordy they are, the less of the narrator. So I think Liz is just good at talking in sound bites as well.
And so you don't think that's actually indicative of her success in this game?
I think she's gonna be successful in this game. Yeah, you both are picking her, but I don't think that's the sole reason. I think that's a reason. About all the people that are successful, you'll pick the one that just speaks the sound bites better, and that one will get most of the air time, most of the confessional time.
Well, and I guess part of it is, I don't think Liz is in any danger of going home because there's Debbie and there's Joe, and of course there's Aubrey and Ben. I'm going to throw this at you. Are we getting an Aubrey Holly Hoffman-esque redemption arc, or is she just, you know, not long for the game? Because what we've seen of her has just been, it's hot out here, I'm not good because I'm dying.
I honestly can't even tell you at this point because honestly, this episode made me lose faith in the entire tribe. So honestly, my analytical stuff just went by the wayside because I just felt by this edit tonight, that tribe is not going to have the winner on it.
Oh.
I think that, like, I was, like, thrown off in multiple different things. I was thrown off by Liz and her little dramatics. I was thrown off by Obama and his now wanting Debbie to stay around because she's annoying and et cetera, which also kind of questions the dynamic of the tribe. So do I think that Aubrey's going to get a redemption? It could go either way. If Obama decides, I call him Obama because I honestly don't even know his name at this point. But if he decides to follow through with that soundbite of him wanting to keep Debbie around, Debbie keeps Joe around, Joe keeps Aubrey around, that's 4. So Liz goes by the wayside and we lose our narrator. So on the other hand, we keep our narrator and we lose the kooky ones that actually bring character to the tribe.
It's interesting to know that Neil didn't get a single professional.
He got
Can you
one.
repeat that?
Oh, he did? He got one professional?
He got one. It was interesting. He starts off, the first thing you see on the brains is, I'm a bit of a pyromaniac, and he lights this big overdone fire. And then all of a sudden, Joe gets the rap for using too much kerosene after Neil had used too much kerosene. And that was his only confessional, was bitching about it and putting it on Joe, despite the fact that they showed him setting this huge fire off.
So yeah, did he burn the hairs off his leg or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess that's just, going through that maybe Fran, you said the lines aren't really that drawn. They all might be drawn just against Joe. Maybe Debbie isn't as on the outs because all the brain people are going to overplay and want to keep her. Maybe Joe is actually the odd man out.
Oh, was that a response? I don't.
Or maybe the producers are setting us up for a blindside where we all think they're going Joe and they decide to go Debbie.
Possibly. I mean, I will say I understand the strategy of wanting to keep Debbie around, but I don't know if I could last 39 days with her.
No.
Yeah,
I could see that tribe not losing before a swap.
I don't know. I think I'd be okay with having her around. I think I would try and be like Dr. Peter and just be like, oh yeah, and like indulge her, and just like to see what else she came up with. Because I want to know her like 80 other jobs that I'm sure she's had and like held beautifully and perfectly.
In all fairness, everyone in this podcast is really good at indulging me all the time, so perhaps you would all be really good with indulging Debbie. Who knows? Okay.
She represents Reading, Pennsylvania perfectly. That's all I have to say. Because Pennsylvania's like 10 minutes from my house. And it's a shit show.
Yeah.
It's a shit show.
I did catch a little bit of that. Ty's internet is going out because I believe there's like, what is it, a hurricane, the apocalypse, something happening in his area?
We just got past the tornado watch, but we're in a thunderstorm warning, which is why my camera just went out for a few minutes there.
Well, it's good to know you're safe.
Anyway.
It's good to know you're safe. And Ty, I just want you to know, I really feel like me and you have kind of like a bromance. I know we're really different, but I definitely feel like we have a bromance similar to the kind of bromance.
You're the tiny gay Asian. If this is where we're going.
Yeah.
This is where we're going.
In this, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, and let's talk briefly about that. Is that an actual bromance alliance? Is that just something cute for the show? What is going on with that? And am I still mean for thinking that Caleb's an asshole? Because I still think he is.
So, okay,
You're not mean. You're not mean. You're not mean for thinking Caleb is an asshole. What I really think it means is that Nick is fucked if they ever go to tribal council. That's what I think. Okay. I think we haven't seen him for 2 rounds. I mean, we've seen him barely in the first episode comparative to the rest of them. Not at all. Episode. There was like one wide shot where you could see all of them together, and then Nick all the way in the back. Mm-hmm. And that, I think he's screwed. I think that's what all of this is telling us. We've got 2 big characters. They're focusing on them. Honestly, I think we're probably going to get one more episode before a swap. It wouldn't surprise me if the Brawns lost again the way they're going. So I think all of this could carry over, and both of them might last a bit. Hard to say. But I do think that the girls are still running things for the time being.
So, Colin,
go ahead, Alicia.
Your question about are you still an asshole for thinking that Caleb is an asshole or whatever that was. So Jeff Probst did a special question and answer session with Parvati and Stephen Fishback. And in it, he talks about how wrong he was about Caleb. Jeff says that Caleb is actually a really, really cool guy, and he was completely 100% against casting him when the producers were trying to get Caleb on the show, and he was like, I have never been more wrong. He's such a cool dude. So I feel like because of that, and then because of the little bit of Caleb I saw tonight that I actually enjoyed, I'm growing on Caleb a little bit, which is something I literally never thought I would say.
All right, is Caleb going to be your new Ozzy, though?
No. I don't think so.
Well, I'll say this. I say Jeff flip-flopped that way with Spencer as well.
Not true.
So I don't know if he's trying to paint Caleb as the next Spencer, or if he's trying to just admit that he's having a bromance. That he's trying to cut in on the bromance there. His Rob's bromance hasn't worked out. So
that's a good possibility, Billy. But I think, especially because Caleb got the dramatic music in the first episode, and he did get that and he had like that whole "I'm an army person" storyline. I do think he's trying to be painted as somewhat heroic. Whether or not that actually works needs to be said. But remember, they tried to paint Ozzy as heroic in South Pacific, so.
And they totally succeeded.
Negative.
And Cochrane was the evil villain that backstabbed him after he saved Cochrane.
Well, if your name is Cochrane.
If you fail twice, try again and fail again.
Tyler, just real quick before we move on.
Yeah.
Tyler, do you think that Nick is this season's Monica?
Perhaps.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Monica, who did not get any airtime until her elimination.
Okay, Monica.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely see that. Nick's going to have a big episode when he gets voted out, like 2 rounds from now. Absolutely.
I wanted to throw something to Ben because Ben's been quiet. Are we correct in this Nick analysis? Because I actually think, that's why I love this show. I actually think we did just hit something on the head with that.
We definitely did. He's fucked. Like, he's fucked. And honestly, thank fucking goodness, because even that one wide shot where I saw his face, I wanted to punch him. He didn't say anything.
Jesus, we do not like Nick here.
I think he's a character, but I just don't think he's going to. I feel like we'd be seeing more of his douchebaggery if he was going to last a while as a douchebag.
That's a very good point.
So.
I do feel like, though, there's something we need to address in the Beauty Tribe.
Anna. Yeah, Anna was completely invisible tonight.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It was Invis 1.
It was Invisible 1. Now, getting Invisible 1 is not a death sentence if it only happens once. But this is someone who everyone last week was saying, we gotta look out for her, we gotta look out for her. Ty, in the bigger sense, what do you think this means for her?
I don't think there was a ton to show from that tribe this episode. I mean, they won the challenge. Ty looked for an immunity and failed. They got enough footage of them, like, broing on each other, and that's what they discussed. They didn't discuss any movement from the first episode in terms of game, which was the girls are in an alliance, they're pretty tight, one of the guys are going to go, that's how it's going to develop, if they go to tribal council.
And it looks like Nick's going to be that guy, is what you're saying.
It certainly does. Okay. And
I guess what I want to know is, if Anna wins, wouldn't they have given her one of the confessionals that they gave to Michelle or Julia about how great, how cute the bromance is? Or am I just reading too much into this and anyone can respond to this?
I think Anna is this season's Natalie Tenorelli. She's a young kid, good looking. She's great eye candy.
She likes Donald Trump.
Attach herself to a good player, and she's gonna be someone's main sidekick at some point. But I don't see her making the kind of moves that we were all gonna go like, whoa, what a player! I think she's gonna make the kind of moves that'll make most guys go, hey, nice boobs. That's about it.
Alicia's face just then was priceless. I wanted to point that out. And, Billy, we have to be kind of careful with Anna because last week I was like, hey, she's attractive, and then I made fun of her because of her political beliefs, and I'm like, wow, I can't objectify someone, then insult them, and then disregard them. So I always have to try to throw some compliments in there as well. So her hair looks good tonight.
Colin. I'm glad you remember the exact sentence that I said.
Yeah. Anyways, we're done with
Which is great for ratings. I'm not against it, but as far as like what does she bring to the table, besides being good looking and being young, we haven't seen anything yet. So
We're talking about Anna?
Yeah.
She was kind of the impetus of the Girls Alliance last week. I have to respectfully disagree with that.
I mean, all the girls are kind of the same on the beauty tribe, but there's Julia, and she's a college girl.
Right.
And
Yes, Julia's the young blonde college girl. Anna's the poker player, and Anna took the reins more so last week, and then got in this. That's why it's so surprising she was invisible this week, because she was kind of the most vocal face of that alliance last week. Like, you kind of had Julia, who said like one thing. She only had one confessional, so she was under the radar. And then you had Michelle, who was also complex, kind of planning, but not quite as visible as Anna, who got like 3 or 4 confessionals last week. Like, she got a lot of confessionals last week.
And then she's
my analysis of the whole thing was that it's interesting that Julia got at least exactly 1 confessional last round, and then they made sure to have her comment briefly this round. Like, I feel like she's moving up.
Possible. Ben, you had
making sure we see her.
Go ahead, Ben.
What this episode told me in terms of, well, there's someone with bad feedback.
Colin, it's on you now. Or are we echoing?
Everybody's echoing.
Well, I'm going to pour my beer while we figure this out.
Strategy.
Okay. Are we good?
Are we good?
No.
It has to be you.
Oh, no. All right, let me get my headphones. As I drop my keys and stuff, because I keep my headphones next to my keys for different reasons. So now everyone gets to watch me.
And
Hello?
Testing. It's definitely Colin. Okay. Continuing.
It's definitely Colin.
Yeah, he's muted.
As Colin goes through technical difficulty, I would like to point out the fact that we do also have a website that people should go to, because there are articles being posted. You should check that out. We'll put the link at the bottom of our YouTube video this week. Right, Colin? Yes, correct, Colin.
You need to unmute yourself. You are muted.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself now.
Like, you have the little mute icon.
I think Colin knows that he's muted.
Yeah, he needs to unmute himself, I think. But I'm going to continue, just so we can continue.
We're live. Yes.
Yeah, we're live. So what I was going to say about Anna and her edit this episode is that it's leading me to surmise one of 2 things. Either she's going to be she's establishing herself as like powerful, and that may be helpful for next episode if they go to their tribal council. It shows that she's in control on the original tribe. But then when we get to a swap, she's going to get the short end of the stick and land on a tribe where she's not going to be part of the majority and ends up losing because of that. The other potential scenario I could see is that she's going to go through that. She's going to go through the swap. She'll make it through the swap. She gets the merge. And they have that dilemma between the 3-girl alliance. Do we come back together or not? And that decision may end up costing her the game.
okay.
And am I still echoing? Am I back?
Yeah,
You're back.
All right. Okay, so thank you for that insightful analysis, Ben. But I think it is time to talk about the wonderful, chaotic Bronze tribe, which isn't that hilarious how the first time around the Brains tribe was really terrible, and now it's the Bronze guys that are all awful. So, first thing is first. I do get to pick a new winner because it's just flat out shenanigans that once I'm out so early. No,
There's shenanigans right now.
Anyways, I'll accept the loss. Is this just a matter of us not fully seeing what's going on in this tribe? Because we were kind of blindsided by Darnell, and we were kind of blindsided by Jennifer. And the only thing is, normally there's stuff like Inside Survivor or player interviews that help gives us insight to why these things are happening, but we don't seem to be seeing that much of that. So does anyone, Billy, do you have any idea what could possibly be going on in this tribe? Why is it such a cluster mess? Or are we just seeing it as a cluster mess, or is it really just a giant cluster mess? Because sometimes they like to portray stuff as a lot more complicated than it actually is. and I just don't know what's going on, Billy.
I think it's a lot of food deprivation. That was a constant subject or topic of conversation with that tribe is how their lack of fire meant that their chickens weren't being eaten, they weren't drinking anything, and that they're suffering from heat exhaustion, that they're sunburned and also I think that the survival aspect of it is kicking their butts. So I think there's a lot of irrational decisions being made because of all that deprivation, the food deprivation, the water deprivation, the heat exhaustion, all of the above. I think that nature is kicking their butt. I think that tribe is the worst kind of crash and burn that could possibly happen, the kind that you can't pull up from. I've never seen anybody come back from dehydration in Survivor, unless you can think of somebody. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody.
All I'm thinking of right now is Garrett from the original Brawn Beauty and how badly he tanked once he was dehydrated.
Well, and I would say I do feel like Scott and Jason, or Kyle, they're holding up kind of well. But Jennifer clearly went a little bit cray-cray. Sydney's doing all right. So
Sydney's the Black Widow.
Colin, she's hanging out. She's great.
Yeah. And actually, I was thinking about this. Like, I bet her position's really good in the tribe now. I do want to talk a little bit before you get to the tribal council drama. Is Jason? He's getting this. I'm a complete asshole edit. He's getting the edit.
OTTN.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I assumed Caleb would get this edit. Jason's getting it. Now, is this a sign of him perhaps getting a redemption arc, or is he the season's villain? What do you guys think?
I think he's the villain. That's my immediate thought.
Villain. All right, Alicia.
He's the villain.
So again, on the special that Jeff Probst's question and answer session that he held, he kind of gave us a little. This is kind of a little tiny bit of a spoiler, but since Jeff gave it, I feel like it's okay to say here because it's already public. So Jeff let us know that episode 4, so not this coming week, but the next, episode 4 is when bullying starts happening in Survivor. And so there are bullies, and they start picking on people a lot. And so
I wonder who that could be.
Raise a lot of questions about, especially amongst like the younger fans of the show. Like, kids are gonna have to be told, like, hey, so what do you do when bullying happens, and also don't be a bully. And so Jeff thinks that's gonna be a really great conversation, but he also thought it was a really unfortunate thing happening on Survivor, which obviously is.
Let me think of my season. Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Yeah.
Really,
that's why I thought Alicia.
But Ozzy's such a great guy. Yeah. He's such a great guy.
Let me just go on this little tangent, the same tangent that everyone here, I think Billy's even heard me go on. Watching people bully is not good entertainment. It's not good conversations. It wasn't fun when Dan and Will were on. It wasn't fun with Gandia and Ted. That kind of stuff is not fun as viewers to watch, and it's just really sad when it happens. I mean, and I hate how Jeff Probst is like, hey, people are bullies for no reason. I don't think that's anything to, hype up about.
It's one thing when you make fun and confessional to be entertaining, but yes, it's completely something else. And, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you guys saw, you can check out the wonderful interview I did with Dan Foley, where I kind of called him out a little bit on it, and we had a really good conversation about it. But, anyways, we all agree that Jason, Kyle, whatever his name is, Kyle Jason, is the villain of this season.
Yeah.
Yes.
No
Okay.
question.
So, what is Scott's role in all of this?
Oh.
I don't know now. Seeing as how he didn't vote with the majority tonight, like, I would have put money on the fact that Scott and Jason, Kyle, whatever we're calling him, would have been the two that voted with Alicia to get rid of Jen after all of the craziness that occurred. And it was Sydney, not Scott. So I thought Scott was kind of helping to make decisions. I don't know if that's the case now. Like, it's weird because Jason is definitely the villain, yet in my summary view of the episode, and as far as who I would rank, I would still say he's probably on top of that tribe now, because I feel like he's the one making the decisions. Like, I feel like him and Sydney are good, him and Scott are good, and Alicia is herself, or Alicia, or however that name is said, Blondie. is just herself, and he's still running that tribe. I don't know that Scott is all that influential at this point. It could just be that he's burnt out because he's a big 7-footer, and it's fucking hot, and it's hard to stay in that shelter when you're so large. I don't know. That's kind of my thought.
Okay. Anyone else want to chime in on this?
Yeah.
I'll just say that we haven't spoken about Blondie, Alicia, who we like to call Blondie. They dubbed Blondie. But so far, she's like this season's version of Neo in the Matrix, dodging bullets left and right. It reminded me of the first Sierra. If you remember the very, very first Sierra, the blonde Sierra, showed up all. Yes, she showed up like sick, and she was the target, and she just managed to dodge bullets and you know, duck and dive and sort of rope-a-dope and went really far. She had no chance of winning, but she went really far. I think Blondie might be that case. Where
and I'm glad you mentioned that, because last week when we were talking, it was Aubrey's getting the redemption arc. Aubrey's the Holly Hoffman. I think it could be Alicia. I think you're right. It could be Alicia. I think Alicia could be the Holly Hoffman this season. Okay, Ben, you're shaking your head. Why are me and Billy wrong?
I just say it because I don't think Alicia is a comeback story that viewers are going to get behind. Like, I feel like Aubrey automatically pulls at your heartstrings. She's awkward. Like, you don't expect her to do well at all. Alicia just comes out like a bonehead, and there's a distinct difference, and I think people take that so differently.
So next week when we're talking, we're saying Alicia's gone. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that she's gone. I'm just saying that the redemption arc is probably going to go to Aubrey over Alicia.
Okay.
Ben,
we didn't see her tonight at all. I thought that was weird.
I agree with you, Ben, that she's not the redemption arc, but I do think she's like I mentioned, Sierra from Token Cheese, that she's gonna just, you know, dodge bullets all the way to the merge, and she'll be like maybe the first or second jury member.
Honestly, she's a total underdog, and I'm kind of rooting for her a little bit after this episode. Not gonna lie.
Thou shall be reviled from last week.
Right? Yeah, I was like not about it last week, but this week, like, she's showing that she's there to work and she's there to at least try and stay. She's not just giving up with, you know.
I will say this.
I was doing that lip thing because she does have a lip tattoo, real quick, in case any of the people that watch is wondering why I got it. I was doing that to maybe say maybe she's not right. Yeah, she has a tattoo on the inside of her lip, like right there.
What does it say?
I don't know.
She does have it, though.
Yeah.
It says, if you can read this, you're too close.
Like $25 or something. I don't know what it says.
$25.
Jesus.
I'm pulling it off. I'm finding out what it says.
All right. Ben's going to find out. He's going to do our research for it. Okay.
Excellent.
So, let's play this game where, like, you know, we're all armchair Survivor quarterbacks, and we always say, well, why should so-and-so make this move?
I found out what it is.
What?
It's audacious. The word is audacious that she has.
That is a really big word. I would not. That is a surprising vocabulary word.
Can we get the oracle? Like, this is the spelling bee.
I love that, audacious. Okay, but anyways, armchair Survivor quarterbacking, and Billy, Alicia, anyone who wants to comment on this, go ahead. Why didn't Jen, when she realized that she was found out, just turn to the two girls and say, okay, we're voting out Jason, or at least try to throw some Hail Mary like that? Because to me, it seemed obvious that her back was against the wall, and even if she survived that vote, she would have been on the very bottom. Go ahead, Ty.
Well, this is the same woman who didn't think to get medical to deal with a medical issue last week. There was a chance that she would overcome that. As it turned out, she was just as dumb. She was as dumb as she was shown to be. And she got herself flustered. Like, that was just a mess. Like, she went from being like CPP, being like, I'm going to defend the downtrodden underdog, to, oh, no, guys, I was definitely never trying to defend that person, and you guys aren't assholes. I totally love you after saying that you were all assholes. And just fucking lost her mind. She just lost her mind. She's not very smart. That's what happened.
Is that going to be our consensus? She just wasn't that good of a player?
I still talk about the deprivation. It affects different people different ways. I still talk it up to deprivation.
The bug ate her brain.
Yeah, somebody who's on the tribe that can't win, it's Tribe can't win for a reason. So it's got to be that it's affecting her in that way, and that she's kind of like punch drunk. She's not saying things that that she would normally say outside the game, where she's not her logic is not what it normally would be. So I chalk it up to that. But yeah, I'm with you, Colin. Once she put herself with her back against the wall, she had to pick a side, and the only side would have been the side with the girls at that point.
Yeah.
She
Even if she would have survived that boat and Alicia would have went, she would have been at the very bottom again. So it would have made more sense for her to flip completely to the girls if she could have. Go ahead, Ben.
I am gonna like try to throw a little empathy her way, just because she did point out in one of her confessionals that she has terrible impulse control. And as a fellow person in the world that has terrible impulse control, I can empathize with her thinking, wow, he's being a dick right now. And quite honestly, she started fire yesterday, and she's not getting as good of a shake as she deserves. So I'm going to see where her head is at. Because I do the same thing where I hear an idea and I'm like gung-ho and I try to get the entire crew on board, and then 2 hours later, that was a stupid idea, wasn't it, guys? So, like, I feel her where I think she just went with her impulses. Her deprivation probably had a hand in her not being able to regulate it as she would in the normal world. And I think that in a game like this where you're deprived and you make impulsive decisions, you can't just back on that, because if you're tight with people and you show that you can make impulsive decisions like that, that's a terrible thing to have to be accountable for in this game.
All right, fair. But it was still just really embarrassing to watch, and she was my winner pick, and she's out. My winner pick is out of the game where Billy Garcia actually gets to do his winner pick. So it's just heartbreaking. It's frustrating. If I wasn't such an amazingly talented host.
Out the way she did, it was bad.
Yeah, I know.
I was telling Billy earlier, it must have been really, really obvious that she had completely dug herself into the ground if Alicia was going to turn around and then like realize, okay, I'm not voting for Kyle Jason anymore. I'm now voting for Jenny. It must have gone on for a long, long time that we didn't see.
Hours.
Oh, yeah. Okay, with that being said, Billy, you do get to pick a winner, and Liz is already taken, even though I know you like her. So let's just go through the list. You can't pick Michelle, you can't pick Anna, you can't pick Liz, you can't pick Nick, you can't pick Kyle, and you can't pick Scott. Now, here is what Billy is going after. He can pick any prize we have ever offered, be it pizza, be it ants, be it a Nerf football, and on top of that, you get Budweiser stuff. And not only that, viewers/listeners, people that watch this are also playing in their own game. And we've only had 3 submissions so far, so there's still plenty of people left. There's going to be an official post of that on the Facebook page and website with all the information. But you can also win, ants, some Budweiser gear, pizza, whatever your heart desires. So anyways, with that being said, Billy, do you have someone who you would like to pick?
Yeah, I feel very patriotic right now, so I'm gonna go with picking the President of the United States of America.
All right.
Oh, gosh.
I thought Joe for a second, I was like, FBI, FBI.
I thought he was going with Caleb, the veteran.
I'm picking him to go next.
You're picking our president until Survivor Season 33. So that's still good. That's still something. Now, before we wrap things up, does anybody like Jennifer have any final soapbox you want to stand on? Any last thoughts you would like to, let the world know?
I liked the challenge today. I liked the river portion of the challenge. I thought it was very cool. We haven't seen that in a while, than like scampering in a river first before going to the ocean. I appreciated it. I enjoyed it. That's all.
Yeah, that was a pretty badass challenge. It would have been better if the hidden immunity idol was at that challenge instead of like 100 feet up in the tree.
Maybe it is.
That's true. Maybe it is. All right, so I want to thank Ty, I want to thank Ben, I want to thank Alicia, and I want to give a special thanks to Billy Garcia for coming on tonight. As always, it's been a pleasure, and I want to give a big shout out to anybody who's watching and listening. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. We're also on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We have a website which Ty and Alex and other people write cool articles for, so there's always ways to get Survivor content from us. So with all that being said, good night.
Good night.
All right.
Woo.